I'm going to go ahead and start the stream, and so that way people can kind of file in. I'll let them half know what's going on. I'll let you uh, fill in on the other half of my brain cell, and we
Okay.
should be a okay. Um,
All right.
yeah, and so uh, you said you'd like to do a Q&A towards the end of the entire thing.
Yes. If it ends up there's time at the end, then yeah,
Yeah, of
we'll do
course.
it.
We don't have a cutoff time at all. Um,
Okay.
People are starting to say hello and anything. A lot of people are saying hello. Someone
Hello.
said happy gay noises.
Happy gay noises. Oh boy.
But yeah, people are starting to file in. If you'd like to go ahead and take control, uh, really quick, I'm just gonna let everybody know that we are doing a Q&A at the towards the end of this little tutorial slash tips and tricks slash makeup panel. I won't be interacting with the chat at all until then, but be sure to save your questions and comments for the end, and I will go ahead and let Vesper take it away. All right.
Thank you. Well, hello everyone. So my name is Vespid, and you can find my social media on Facebook and Instagram just by looking for Vespid Cosplay. Um, and that's just all one word at Vespid Cosplay. Um, I've been cosplaying for about 3 years now. Um, I don't know if I can count this quarantine period as part of my like cosplay experience time because I haven't done a whole lot of cosplaying. But I have been doing some makeup looks during this time because it's a good way to kind of keep my creativity up. So I've been enjoying that. And during this panel, I'm going to show you how I will contour my face to make my feminine features look a little bit more masculine for characters like Bakugo, who I've cosplayed before. And then I've also cosplayed Dippy Fresh and Dipper Pines from Gravity Falls. I go by they, them pronouns. And I'm trying to think of what else. I have a lot of makeup experience. I was into theater makeup whenever I was in high school, and then I did a little bit in college. Got hired on as a makeup lead for 2 productions, which was super fun. Didn't end up pursuing it long term, but I learned a lot of things that I carried into doing makeup looks for cosplay. So I've learned a lot of skills from that, and I'm hoping to show you guys some of the skills that I've learned. Um, so hopefully you guys can learn something. I know that if you've been cosplaying from My Hero Academia, like you might already know some of these tips and tricks, but if you're interested and wondering about it, this is a great place to start. And I'll also tell you about some of the different products I use in case you don't know where to start, even with buying stuff. I Before I started the stream, I went ahead and put on a makeup primer first. I like to use Milk. It's a good brand. And you only need a little bit, and you just rub it right into your skin. And that'll prime your face for the rest of your makeup look. And then I just put a nice BB cream on top of that I like to use for, oh, you can't see it, it's super washed out in this light. But I'll use a BB cream as sort of my foundation because a lot of foundations I don't like how they feel on my skin. So I've gone ahead and I've applied the primer and I've applied the BB cream to my face, and I've used this sort of sponge to just spread it out over my skin. So I've already done that. I've also put on an eyeshadow primer just on my eyelids, both upper and lower eyelids. And please forgive my voice with the seasonal changes happening in Texas right now, and a bunch of rain and then hot weather and humidity. My allergies have just been kicking up into high gear. So first, what I'm going to do, now that I have just my base foundation on, is I'm going to start adding some shadows and highlights using, I have this Kat Von D Lock It. It's a foundation, but it's lighter than my natural skin tone, and I use that just to highlight certain areas. And then I have a contour cream kit by Aesthetica that has some different darker colors, and this is a cream. I don't rely on the cream as much as I do on powders, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm just going to start with Kat Von D lighter color. And a lot of makeup artists will get mad at me that I use my fingers a lot instead of brushes for putting makeup on, but that's just my own personal preference. Okay, so for male contouring, what we want to focus on is we're going to be adding shadows to the cheekbones here, and then we'll actually be adding some to the jawline to make it appear more square. And I'll be adding highlights here to bring the jaw out. And so you'll start seeing from where I'm putting like the highlights in the dark areas, like what I'm trying to pull forward, what I'm trying to highlight. So to start out, I'm going to add my light color here. Other side. And if you guys end up like asking questions in the chat and stuff, I won't be able to see it. So keep in mind what the moderator was saying at the beginning, that you will be able to ask questions at the end. All right. Also, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a line here because it's going to make my eyebrows be a little bit more accentuated, which can make me appear a little bit more masculine. I'm going to add some light here, forehead here. Sort of see. And where else I need to add this? So we're just going to use this to blend it out a little bit. And looking for resources to do this at home, you can actually look up what are called contour maps, and they tell you where to put the lights and darks on your face to change it more masculine or more feminine. Important part of kind of hardening soft features, soft feminine features, is accentuating jawline and brow bone especially. And then, so what I'm aiming to do is I'm accentuating the jawbone, I'm accentuating my brows. And I'm going to, while with feminine contouring, often you will try to make your nose look a little bit smaller. If you're doing male contouring, you actually want to make it look a little bit bigger. And the first couple times you try this, you may be tempted to stop because it changes the way your face looks and you're not used to it, so you just assume it looks ugly. but don't be freaked out because it will change how you look, even if it's just slightly. Whenever I first started doing male contouring, I definitely did it very lightly because I was afraid of it looking too crazy, too out there. All right, I'm gonna add some of this like dark color. So I'm just using from my palette like this darkest dark here. All right, so I'm gonna show you where I'm putting this. Putting one here, here, um, under here. And then, especially for Bakugo, whenever I'm cosplaying Bakugo, I will really add some more intense lines into the eyebrow area because he just looks angry all the time. So, and after I put this on, I'm gonna be blending it in, so it's not gonna look this wild. Now. You can. I tend to not do it because I don't like a lot of makeup on my lips, but you can actually bring your lighter colors up into your lip line if you want to make your lips look smaller for certain characters. Certain male characters have like smaller lips. I don't prefer to do it, but that's something that you can do. All right, I think I've put my dark colors basically where I want them. I am going to add a little bit in here too. Gotta work around my nose ring. And I'm going to use my same makeup sponge to blend it out. Um, After you're done doing makeup looks like this, be sure to wash all of your sponges and brushes because they'll just be full of all these fun colors. All right, see how that's given me a more pronounced cheekbone on this side? I'm doing a dabbing movement because I don't want to just swipe it across my skin because it could lift up the other layers or make it appear kind of streaky. So dabbing it in is good. And you don't want to cake on these layers too thick or else it'll make your makeup not look like skin. It'll really look like makeup on your. I blended in those. I'm going to go ahead and blend my jawline. Makes sense. My bedtime is usually around 10, so my brain is starting to tell me, hey, isn't it time for us to be sleepy? I work early in the mornings generally, and so my sleep schedule is that of a grandma's. Since I can't quite get my sponge in here, I'm just using my fingers, but you can get smaller sponges to kind of uh, get in there if you don't want to use your hands. But I like to use my hands. Change my features a little bit, which is good. Another place that I like to put it that I forgot to is I'll do just a tiny bit under the lip. Pretty. I'm gonna take some and put them up here. Really just blend until it looks pretty natural. If I'm wearing a wig, I will usually also add some contouring right here. It just adds a nice shadow and frames the face. But if you're wearing just natural hair, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't add any dark here because it's not going to blend into your hairline very nicely. Base creams on. I'm going to go in with just some light powder. It's going to be my base powder. From there, I'm going to start layering on some different colored powders to bring out the contouring that I've already put on my face. So this is the powder I'm using now. It's Too Faced translucent powder. Using a big kabuki brush. And I'm not giving too much powder. It's not really coated. There's just a nice fine layer on there. I just want to start setting this a little bit. Just a lot of creams on my face. Putting the powder on is going to help keep it from moving around. It also starts smoothing out anywhere where it's a little bit too crisp from your blending application. All right. For eyebrows next, actually. Contour brow kit. And if you don't have a kit like this, you can just use any eyeshadow that has, colors that match your eyebrows or are close to it. And I'm going to use an angled brush to apply it to my eyebrows. There's my angled brush. So I'm using a stiff angled brush, and I like this brush because it also has this little brush wand on the end that I can use to manipulate my brow hairs to go where I want them to go. Pretty light eyebrows. If I was doing Bakugo, I still would want to darken them a little bit just so that they show up nicely for photos. So I've gotten some powder, some like light brown powder on my angled brush, and I'm just going to start applying it with the hairs, like in the direction of the hairs. And since I'm doing a male look, I'm going to do the eyebrows a little bit thicker and a little bit more messy. If you already have thicker eyebrows, you could probably just fill them in a little bit. Go a little bit darker, I think. Pretty good, I think. Start on the next one. You probably won't be able to see it super well, but I'm not going to be able to apply it from this direction for you to see, so I'm just going to get this side done as quickly as I can. Add dark colors to that side. So I'm using this darker color just to extend inwards a little bit more with the eyebrows. And if you get some dark shadow on there, you can use it like I'm using it now to like add more defined hairs to it. I think it looks kind of neat. My hair is like a light blonde naturally. Whenever I'm getting into cosplay with a darker haired character and I'm making my eyebrows much darker, it always looks very silly. My hair is so light. Alright, for now with the eyebrows, I might revisit them a little bit. I'm going to add some contouring to my eye area. So I'm using a palette that has some different colors in it. The Nightingale palette by Pretty Vulgar. Again, I like to use my hands, but there's various brushes you can use, some thicker ones. That's what I would do for this first pass. But I'm gonna go for this like medium tone color right here. And I'm choosing eyeshadows that are matte, they're not shiny, because we're going for a natural look. We don't want to look like we're wearing a lot of makeup. So use this mid-range tone, and I'm going to go both in the corner and on the ends of my eyes. So here and here. You don't want to be too crazy with the eyeshadow or you'll start looking a little bit more feminine. Just enough to where your eyes popping out for photographs. And then I'm gonna go for this lighter color, and I'm gonna put them just right in the middle of my eyelids here. And I'll use my brush just to blend it together a little bit. If I am not able to get to everyone's questions, feel free to message me on Instagram at VespidCosplay. I'm happy to answer any questions there. Pretty good. All right. Now, I have a bunch of different powders of different colors that I'm going to utilize to accentuate some of those angles that I was making earlier with the different creams. I'm going to start using powders to do that. So I'm going to use a combination of like this medium tone, and I might use some of this like darker tone. And then I have some other eyeshadows in here that I'm going to use. So once I am going to start applying eyeshadow to my face to start accentuating these lines, I want to use my big brush again, because if you use a small brush, it's going to be hard to blend out. And you want to be cautious with how much powder you use, because this is where it's very easy to go overboard. Because now that you've got the creams and stuff on your face, this powder is going to stick really well. So I'm going to start with my cheekbones. And I'm just using a medium tannish color shadow. Just using it to accentuate this a little bit more. Now it's darker. You can tell one of the shadows I use all the time to contour my face because the pan is pretty much gone. Like this before. This is not something that I got decent at in one go. It's definitely a trial and error thing. And it takes a while to get used to your face shape looking different. So don't be discouraged if you try and it doesn't turn out just how you like it. Try again, as they say. All right, I'm going to use my medium powder to go in right here. And use some more of that powder to go on my jawline as well. Key is not to have any super hard lines. The powder will help you smooth out a lot of the harsher lines you may have made whenever you're using the cream. Getting powder. All right, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because I'm going to go in where my eyebrows are. And you might do better with a smaller brush than this. This is a smaller floofy brush like this one. That'll be good. Or if you're trying to get some fine details, a brush like this. It's still fluffy, but it's a little bit smaller. You want a fluffy brush that you can blend easily. All right, this is where sometimes I mess it up. Let's use a smaller brush actually. Too hog wild. I'm gonna use that smaller brush. Too chicken. And since I've switched to this smaller brush, I'm also gonna use it in my eye area a little bit too. I'm gonna go under my eyebrows a little bit. And there's no one right or wrong way to do this. This is just how I like to do it. And from experience and seeing how these things look in photos, shadow, and then I'm going to be switching to a light shadow to highlight again. So basically, the things that I did with the cream, I'm now doing over again with the powder, and it gives it a nice, more natural look. Go under here a little bit. And my AC keeps kicking on in my bathroom, so I'm sorry if that noise interrupts my talking. And then this is an optional choice. I've found that it makes my whole look a little bit more masculine if I just add a little bit of shadow right here. Some people don't do it. I like to. Making sure things are blended. That's pretty. All right. just checking. Oh yeah, plenty of time. All right. I'm going to go, now that I've done some of the darker shadows, I'm going to do some lighter ones. And once I add those light ones, usually that's whenever I can tell if there's anywhere else that needs to be darkened again. If I've highlighted and I realize, oh, like I've completely lost, you know, some of the darker shadows that I made. So for highlighting, I'm actually just using like a white translucent powder, and I'm just going to be very careful when applying it because I don't want to, if you apply too much of this white powder, you know, you'll start looking really makeup-y. You'll kind of look like face paint-ish if you add too much white, but I'm just going to add a little bit to brow bones, or cheekbones. Chin, just anywhere that's going to be sticking out or that I want to appear like it's protruding or that I want to accentuate, I'm going to add white too. So I'm going to add some to the forehead. I'm just going to go ahead and start blending it a little bit too. Not much, and we want to be able to blend it in. It's really starting to change my face shape. I don't know if you remembered at the beginning, but my natural face shape is pretty round. I have some pretty good, I have a pretty good jawline that's easy to accentuate, but otherwise my features are a little bit more rounded, so I have changed my face shape quite a bit. And we're blending, and we're blending, and we're blending. Don't want this to look too unnatural. And with my harsh lighting, it makes this look a lot darker than it actually is. I'll definitely take some pictures and post them to my Instagram story. So if you're interested in seeing it in some different lighting, you know, please check out my social media, VespidCosplay, if you didn't hear it earlier. So if I'm a blonde person, so my eyelashes are naturally very light. So if I'm doing male makeup, I will go ahead and still put on a tiny bit of mascara. And especially for anime boy characters, I will add a little bit of eyeliner too. It doesn't take away too much from the masculine look as long as you don't go for any like cat eyes. You just want to keep it really simple, the eyeliner. So I'm going to go in with eyeliner first. And I have a eyeliner by Tarte. And I like to use a liquid liner because I live dangerously. But if you wanted to use, you know, I'm actually going to switch to a pencil because I really would recommend, if you're going for a male look, to go ahead and go for the pencil. Because you can blend it a little bit more instead of having just a harsh line. But there's aesthetic differences between the two. Like if you wanted to have an anime boy character who looks a little bit edgy, you might want a more painted on look with your eyeliner. So you might choose the liquid liner. But I'm going for a more natural male contour right now. So I'm just going to use the pencil. I'm going to get kind of close so that maybe you can see what I'm doing. I don't want too much, so that's what's nice about the pencil is I can blend it in a little bit if I go overboard. I think it's nice if you are doing a photo shoot, no matter what character you're playing or what gender you identify with. It's my personal opinion that it makes photos look a little bit better if you have on just a little bit of eye makeup, because it makes your eyes pop in photographs. But not everyone is comfortable wearing makeup, and I think that's a perfectly valid reason. Some people like to look completely natural, and that's also fine. Fall out under my eyes. So I'm putting on the eyeliner and then I'm just rubbing my finger across it to make sure it's not a harsh line. Because my goal here is just to make my eyes more apparent and make it look like I have eyelashes. I'm not trying to have anyone focus on the eyeliner itself. So I've just put a little bit on. And I'm also going to put on just a tiny bit of mascara. So I don't have any brown mascara right now, but uh, I'm just going to use a tiny bit of black mascara and hopefully it's not too dramatic. But if you're going for a natural look, I would use a lighter mascara or, you know, whatever matches your character's hair. So if they have really dark hair, you might go ahead and go for black. But if you have a lighter haired character, don't go towards the really dark mascara unless you want to make an edgy boy. All right. Put on just the tiniest bit and I'm just running my finger through the eyelashes before it dries to lift some of it off so it's not a whole lot of mascara. I don't know if you can tell the difference between my eyeballs. And I'm not going to add any to my bottom lid just because the mascara already makes it look like I have eyelashes down there, so I'm not going to do it. But that's always a choice that you could make for your character, for your portrayal of your character. So you can see that kind of tied everything up. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to add for my look. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not remembering right now. ADHD brain. I'm gonna see what time it is because I might go ahead and wrap up. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's basically what I do for my male contouring. I'm ready for questions, I think. Thank you. So I don't use one straight brand across for different things. And I feel like with eyeshadow specifically, like that I use for contouring and stuff, the brand doesn't matter so much as the brand for your foundation and your primer. So I would definitely use that Milk brand for the primer. That has worked really well for me. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but you can get a small sample of it at Sephora. And then Kat Von D. Kat Von D is really good for basic foundations, and I've been able to get away with a lot of contouring with just getting a lighter color and a darker colored Kat Von D foundation, and it's worked really well. My favorite shadows that I use are Naked brand or Urban Decay, the Naked palettes. I'll use those a lot. And then these Aesthetica kits are just a lifesaver. So that's what I would say. Oh man, okay. Um, I have to think back. My first ever cosplay, um, I would have to say that was Volume 1 Yang from Ruby. That's the one that I would consider my first cosplay because that's the first one that I actually like tried and like got all of the pieces together for it. And wore it to my yeah, I wore it to my first convention. And then what got me into it is after me and my roommate started wearing Yang and Blake to conventions, like people would interact. They were super hype about seeing us in character, and we started making friends and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I love this community. So I wanted to be a part of that community, and that's what really drove me into cosplaying. And then what made me stay is that it's like 7 different hobbies combined into one, so there's always more stuff to learn. Oh, yeah, for sure. Looking at or drugstore brands, a nice middle of the road, on the cheaper end, but not sacrificing quality. I would go for Maybelline or Revlon. They have some good products there. And then Elf Cosmetics. If you're looking to buy brushes, you can get Elf brand brushes for like $1, $2, and I still use some Elf brand brushes. Like I think this one is, and it's one of my go-tos. So definitely save some money doing that. Oh, um, so for a character like Bakugo, where I'm doing just contour, and then I get into my cosplay and I put my wig on. If I take a while and I take my time and I struggle with putting my contacts in, it'll take me like maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. If I'm doing like I cosplay Peridot, and that is like green paint, and I have to like struggle into this like bodysuit that is like sewn but also like safety pinned in certain areas, like that could take me up to like 2 hours, so it just depends. That's so great. I love that. Reminds me, I usually finish off all of my makeup looks with some sort of barrier spray, because walking around on the convention floor, your makeup is going to start to sweat off. I mean, especially in Texas where it's super hot, where I live. I recommend Mayron barrier spray. It smells horrible, but it works so well. It keeps my makeup on all day long, and even if I go to like, the electronic dance after the whole con, like my makeup will still be on. So, pro tip. Oh, for the lips, yeah. So, what I do is I will pull whatever my base foundation color is. I'll go ahead and I'll pull it up like halfway into my lip line, and that makes my lips look a little bit smaller. Because generally, whenever you're doing male contour, you want the lips to look a little bit smaller, and it's not for every character, but that's kind of the general consensus. So if you bring your lighter foundation up into the middle of your lip, and then you extend the shadow that I added down here, you can bring it up a little bit more. It'll make your lips look a little bit smaller. And you can do the same thing for the top lip as well. You don't want it to be so accentuated and curved. Just bring that foundation down a little bit, and you'll play with the shape until you find something that looks natural. But that's the key point, is bringing that foundation down. Oh, I absolutely love it. I've always wanted to try it. I've never gotten like into either of those franchises because I just haven't had the time or haven't gotten into it. And I think that's why I haven't tried it. But I think it's really cool to look at, especially the cell shading for Borderlands is just so fascinating. I love it. Uh, Play is Peridot from Steven Universe. It's my hardest cosplay to get into. What was the other question? So, oh, the easiest one. Okay. So, favorite and most difficult, both, is Peridot. Um, my easy, yeah. My easiest would probably be. None of them are super easy, to be honest. I would say probably Pajama Yang from Ruby. Um, yeah, because it's just shorts, shirt, so I'll throw that on. I'll do some like basic girly makeup, and then I'll put that wig on, and then I'm ready to go. And it's not a whole lot of clothing pieces, so I'm not constantly adjusting anything or anything like that. The only hindering part of the cosplay is the wig. It's a lot of hair, but I think that's the easiest and most comfortable too.
Pardon me. I still had the I still had my mic closed on the
Oh
recording
my god!
software, so no one in the chat could hear me at all. I am so
Oh my
sorry
gosh!
about that, y'all. So they were just hearing you answer the questions.
Oh my god!
Someone said, "Can you talk about how you did your makeup for your Teletubby cosplay?" You did a
Oh, okay,
Teletubby
sure.
cosplay? Oh, I
I
need to
do.
hear this.
I cosplay Dipsy from the
Which
Teletubbies.
color is that? I only know the colors.
That's the green one because green is
Okay.
my favorite color.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of like different crazy colored makeups. I'm gonna see if I can find one of the ones I use for Dipsy. So I do like a feminine face for Dipsy.
Nice.
Um, and then I can't find any of my good colors. But I have a Maybelline. This one's a purple set, but I have a couple of Maybelline eyeshadow sets, and I have a green one that has a bunch of different colors of green. And so, what's unique about Dipsy is I will make my eyebrows green.
Nice.
Um, I'll do like green, like intense green eyeshadow on my eyes. I'll highlight with like some yellow, and then I have some fake eyelashes that are big and green. Um,
Nice.
and then I will make my lips green or black, depending on what I'm feeling. If I'm going for a dramatic Dipsy look or a fun Dipsy look, shake it up. And then I have some green glitter that I'll put on my face. And I'll usually put that glitter just like on my cheekbones, and it makes my cheekbones all sparkly and fun for
Nice.
Dipsy. So that's how I do my
I
Dipsy
don't know if you'll
makeup.
ever get the chance, but would you sometime be able to do like punk rock Dipsy or goth Dipsy?
But I could.
I think it would make for a pretty interesting photo shoot. I I don't
You
think
know,
anyone else at the con would do that.
if I could get a group together where we all did punk Teletubbies, I would be totally there. I would
Yes.
do it.
If I did a Teletubbies cosplay, I would want to have it be a giant suit. But have you ever seen the picture where it shows like the Teletubbies in their full size, how they're like 14 feet tall?
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
terrifying.
crazy. It's super funny. I'm super happy someone brought that up. And thank you to the one who mentioned how you couldn't hear me. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Um, yeah. We are just about running out of time. If you want to go ahead and drop your social media tags, things like that.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is like one of the first things I've done since quarantine that's cosplay related, other than just like putting on makeup by myself in my bathroom, which I guess technically I'm doing, but y'all are here too in spirit, so
Yeah.
that's great. So thank you guys so much. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, but I'm mostly active on Instagram at Vespid Cosplay. That's VESPID and then cosplay, all one word, on Instagram and Facebook. But I'm more active on Instagram. So yeah, I think that's it.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming on. I know it can be a little difficult to keep the energy of a live stream going, especially when you can't see the questions and you're kind of by yourself. Thank you so much for being here. We definitely appreciate it. I think we can just go ahead and let everyone else uh, know that this is pretty much it. We do have some
All
more
right.
things going on tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure, but there is a live stream schedule in the Discord. And yeah, goodbye, everybody.